my first roommate was a mentally unstable racist person. So, you want to go to UNF, but you don't know much about the school. Well, fear not, because I am here to give you information. As a former UNF student, I know almost everything about the school. Notice how I said almost everything and not everything, because I don't know everything. So I just want to make a disclaimer really quick. Everything that I say in this video is from my perspective, my point of view, because that's the only point of view that I know and fully understand. So I'm going to be splitting the video up in 3 sections. So the first section will be covering campus/student life. Second section will be covering academics, and the third section will be covering financial aid, because financial aid and I had a interesting relationship, to say the least. But first, let's do a little background about UNF. Where is UNF located? UNF is located in Jacksonville, Florida, one of the biggest cities in Florida. Not one of the biggest cities, it is the biggest city in Florida. It's a relatively small school. I think the school now has about 15,000 students, and it's a pretty new school. They built the school in the 1970s. So to jump into the video, I will be first talking about frats and sororities, because I know for some people that's a big deal. I didn't join a sorority because I just didn't want to. There are sororities and frats, however, since the school is so small, they don't have the houses on campus. I don't even know where the frat houses or the sorority houses are, but I know they do exist. They typically rush in the fall, I believe. I'm not sure. Moving on, I'm going to talk about sports. I believe the sports at UNF are pretty good. Once again, I really don't know much about sports. I'm not a sports person. I didn't go to any of the games, but I know they usually won, so that's good. Moving still on the topic of sports, if you are a type of person who likes football and you like homecoming and everything that has to do with homecoming, don't come to UNF, because we don't have a football team. Yeah, I don't know why they don't have a football team. They don't. So if that's a deal breaker for you, then you gotta put UNF to the side. There's no football, no homecoming, no all that fun stuff that comes. Now I'm going to talk about school events. There were very few events on campus, like few big events on campus, because like I said, the school is pretty small, and many people who go to the school don't live on campus. It's a commuter school, so a lot of people live off campus at home or on an off-campus apartment. So the stuff to do on campus, like if you lived on campus all the time like I did, there's not much to do. But for the big events, they typically had something called Aussie Fest in the spring, and it was a week long of events, and at the end of the week they had a musical guest performer. And so last year they had Ray Shmurda, right? Am I saying that right? Ray Shmurda? Ray Shrimmer. I'm thinking about Bobby Shmurda. Anyways, and Brian Vine. They had those performers last year. And then earlier this year they had Gunna and I believe someone else. I didn't go to this year's performance because it was in the middle of February, and in Jacksonville it gets pretty cold. It was in the 40s or like 50s the day he was performing, and I'm not gonna stand out in the cold surrounded by a whole bunch of people just standing to watch Gunna. I know some people would watch Gunna, but I'm not a Gunna fan, so I wasn't interested. So now I'm going to move on to the clubs. There are many clubs at UNF, however, I felt that a lot of them were inactive because I didn't see them tabling at Market Wednesdays. So what Market Wednesdays are is where you have all the clubs at UNF. They set up tables and they basically tell you like, hey, we're this club, please come join us, sign up so we can have more members. And I felt like I saw the same like 7 or 10 clubs tabling for Market Wednesdays. So I don't know how people were able to find out about other clubs. Well, I do know. Social media. You can find anything through social media. What am I saying? So now I'm going to talk about school spirit. In my personal opinion, because this whole video is my personal opinion, I feel like UNF severely lacked school spirit. And I have a little inkling that it might be to the fact that they don't have a football team. It's just my opinion. I'm not sure. But personally for me, like, the school spirit just wasn't there. You know how typically people buy like school paraphernalia, they buy like the sweatshirts and the t-shirts and stuff like that. I didn't really see a lot of people wearing it on campus. I really didn't see. And also, I didn't buy any school paraphernalia because here's my thinking. Why would I pay for a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a jacket, or whatever from the school that I attend when I'm already paying you for tuition and paying you for housing and for meal plans? It just doesn't make any sense to me. You're already taking enough money away from me. No more. You're not taking any more money away from me, okay? No more. So now I'm going to move on to housing / meal plans. So there are 2 types of housing. There's housing for freshmen and there's housing for upperclassmen. I'm first going to talk about the housing for freshmen. So the housing for freshmen consisted of Osprey Cove, Osprey Landing, and Osprey Crossings, and Osprey Hall. Osprey Cove, Landing, and Crossing were pretty much all the same. They looked the same. They had all the same amenities, which was a full bathroom and a kitchenette. However, for Crossings, they had carpet, but I think they took it out last year. So, and then they just put wood down because there's wood on the other 2 housing options. And then for Hall is the cheapest option because it is the traditional college style dorm where it's just 2 beds, 2 desks, and communal bathrooms for the whole floor. Listen, although it is the cheapest option, it's up to you if you want to deal with communal bathrooms. Because to me, communal bathrooms just remind me of a prison. A prison. I couldn't do communal bathrooms. It's just not my thing. In my opinion, the size of the freshman dorms, aside from Hall, were relatively spacious for freshman housing. I think I have a clip from my first year at UNF. I think I might insert it. Hopefully I can, so you can see what the dorms typically look like.
So I apologize in advance for the shaky video. This was my dorm. I lived in Osprey Cove. That is the kitchenette area I was telling you guys about. That was my former roommate's side. She had moved in a couple days before I did, and that's my side. I had just came into the room to check it out before I fully moved all my belongings in. So that is the space, that's my sister, that's the kitchenette area, my desk, and my bed.
My overall experience living in freshman housing was pretty okay. I liked my RA. I feel like the housing they have for freshmen it's good. The one thing you do have to worry about is your roommate. So typically you have one roommate, but I feel because UNF is starting to accept more students, now they're going to have two roommates. So it's going to be three people in a room because there's typically two. I mean, the room is big enough to fit three people, but I don't like the idea of shoving three people into that space. Yeah. Another thing with roommates, you have to make sure that you get along with your roommate. Like, try to get along with your roommate. Um, yeah. My first roommate was a mentally unstable racist person. But that's a story for another time. Now, moving on to upperclassmen housing. If you, for some reason, decide that you want to still stay on campus after freshman year, you can. I stayed on campus after my freshman year because I had no car. But trust me, if I had a car, I would have been out. I would have been out that bitch. But the housing options for upperclassmen is still not that bad. So there's three options. You have Osprey Fountains, which is where I stayed. You have the Villages, and you have the Flats. So Osprey Fountains, it's set up like a suite. So each person has their own little room, and you can either have the 4-bedroom type suite or you can have the 6-bedroom type suite. So I had the 4-bedroom type suite. So two people would have one bathroom, they would share one bathroom, and the other two people would share another bathroom. And we also had a small kitchenette area. Luckily for me, my dorm room was right across from the floor kitchen, which is like the kitchen that the whole floor shares, and I could just go and cook my food and come back. Yeah, it was great. Now moving on to villages. Villages, in my opinion, is the ghetto. Villages looks like the hood. Like, it just looks so not managed, not kept. Like, it just looks like it's slowly falling apart. Despite its appearance, it's still pretty expensive to stay there because housing is always going up, never going down. Ever. But villages, the way that it's set up, you have two options where you can have two people sharing a space and they share one bathroom. Villages has a full kitchen inside their dorm room. Yes. And then you have the second villages option where you have 4 people living in the space. And so you would have one room that would have 2 people in it, and then you would have a loft and you would go upstairs and there'd be 2 more people sharing. But then there's still only one bathroom. So you would have 4 people sharing one bathroom. I couldn't do that. I was thinking about rooming in villages, but I was like, after my after my experience with my first roommate, I was like, I need my own space where I can close my door because we all need like privacy, you know. Um, and with villages, you don't have that because you still have two beds in like one room. Some people like it because of the full kitchen. So if you are constantly cooking, that's a good idea for you. And then there's the last option where you have the UNF flats. So it is apartment style housing, and they still have to pay rent. From what I know, from what I've heard from other people, the rent is pretty expensive compared to the average rent in Jacksonville. That's what I've been told. So you have two options for how you want your apartment. You can either have it unfurnished, and if you get it unfurnished, your rent will be cheaper. But if you do get it furnished, then your rent would be like $750 or something. I think for the unfurnished flats apartment, it is six something. Yes. And the reason why it costs so much, I believe, is because amenities and internet are included within the rent. So you don't have to pay separately for all that stuff. And that's it for campus life section. I feel, from my opinion, for campus life, if you're looking for a true college experience, UNF is not the place for you. Don't come here because there are no parties on campus. Like there's no room for parties, no events, no nothing. After 7 o'clock, the campus is silent. Like it's dead. Like it's a ghost town. And don't even get me started on the weekends. Like there's nobody there on the weekends. It's because like I said, it's a commuter school, so people are at home doing whatever. But yeah, like I said, if you're looking for the true college experience, football games, frat parties on campus, regular parties on campus, homecoming, UNF it's not the place for you. So, I forgot to mention meal plans. So there are several different types of meal plans that you can choose from, but I'm just going to talk about the two meal plans that I had. So as a freshman, if you are living on campus, you are required to buy a meal plan. Like you need to buy a meal plan. However, it's not required you live on campus, but if you do live on campus, you need to buy a meal plan. So the meal plan I bought was the cheapest one for freshmen, which was the 10 meals a week with $300 dining dollars. And so how that worked is you would have 10 meals for the week. You can use your 10 meals for whatever you wanted on the several different locations we had. We had Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, Slice Pizza. However, I heard that they're replacing Slice Pizza with Moe's. There is Einstein Bagel. There is Jamba Juice. There's Aussie's. There's Pita Pit. I think that's it. Maybe I'm missing some. I might add some if I remember. But how the meal plan worked is that your meal plan, your meal swipe, was worth $5. And if your meal was over $5, your dining dollars would cover what's remainder of the balance. So for example, let's say I went to Chick-fil-A and I bought a meal and my meal totaled up to $8. I would use my one meal swipe, and my meal swipe would pay for $5 of that meal, and then the remaining I would use my dining dollars to pay for the remaining of the meal. I did not like my meal plan because I felt like at the end of the semester I always had dining dollars left over. If you should know something about me, I don't eat much, which is very bad. It's really bad. I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to eat more. But since I felt like I wasn't eating much, I just always had dining dollars left over, And so at the end of the semester, I would just give my card to my friends and they would finish off my dining dollars for me, because the dining dollars don't roll over to spring semester. Yeah, they don't roll over to spring semester. They make you buy a whole new meal plan for the subsequent semester. So if you had $50 left over from fall, it does not roll over to spring to add to your new meal plan. So instead of having 300 dining dollars, you'd think you would have 350. No, since it doesn't roll over, that $50 is lost. And I feel like they should change that, because it's just forcing students to spend more money. But I mean, is it really surprising? America is a very capitalist country. In many other countries, higher education is free, but we're not gonna get on top of that. We're gonna leave that alone. And then for the other meal plan I had a block membership. So a block membership is the number of meals you would have for the whole semester, and then dining dollars. I once again had the cheapest block membership, or the lowest block membership, which was 45 meals for the whole semester and then 300 dining dollars. I feel like that meal plan was a waste of money, because like I said, I don't eat much, and then like I just went grocery shopping and I bought my own food and I cooked, because I just got really bored of the food options on campus. I forgot to mention the cafe. The cafe is horrible. Like, it's trash. It's ass. It's the food in the cafe. From a cultured person's point of view, the food in the cafe is unseasoned, undercooked, not clean, stale. The cafe is just not it. The only time I went to the cafe was for fresh fruit. That was it. That was it. Other than that, I didn't go to the cafe. And I only went into the cafe my first year. Like, after that, I said, fuck the cafe. The cafe is just... There will be people that will tell you that the cafe is delicious, but they will probably not be of my complexion. Okay? Alright? They won't be. So I remember one time they were serving chicken. So it was supposed to be like lemon pepper chicken. And let me describe to you. Have you guys ever taken chicken out of a package and you're opening it and like the smell of just like blood and deadness and nastiness just wafts in your nose? That's exactly what the cooked chicken at the cafe smelled like. So what that's telling me is that they didn't clean the meat, and then the meat was still pink. The meat was still pink. It's like they put it in the oven for like 3.7 seconds, took it out, and then sprinkled 3 little things of seasoning on the chicken, and they said, here, gourmet lemon pepper chicken, enjoy. And then there was another time where they were doing like a cultural day, and they made jollof rice, or what was a sad attempt at jollof rice. I'll give it to them. They tried, but they didn't try hard enough. Yeah. But going back to my meal plan that I had was the 45 meal a semester meal plan with 300 dining dollars. And I had it for fall of 2019. And once again, I had dining dollars left over, and I gave my card to my friends, and they finished the remainder of my dining dollars for me. And then for spring of 2020, I didn't have a meal plan at all because I was just like, it's a waste of money and I can cook, so I should just cook my own food. I can order food out, I can buy groceries, and I did, and it was great. I like it. If you're a type of person who is picky or gets bored with food very fast, like me, I would recommend that you don't get a meal plan. Just skip out on it. That is if you're living on campus after freshman year, because like I said, for freshman year, you do need a meal plan if you live on campus. Yeah. I forgot to mention that I have 2 clips of the upperclassmen housing options. I have Osprey Fountains, although it's not a full clip, and I have Osprey Villages. I will try to insert it for you guys.
Once again, I'm sorry for the shaky camera work. I was recording in a rush because I was moving out due to the coronavirus, but this is the Osprey Fountains, and this is what the bathroom looks like, and this is one of the cabinet spaces. So this is footage of the villages. I was able to get this footage courtesy of a friend because I told her I'd never seen inside the villages before. So this is the full kitchen I was telling you guys about. Unfortunately, I was not able to go into the bedrooms because her roommates were in the dorm for the night, but that is the loft.
So I decided that I'm just going to make a second part of the video because I feel like this video is getting too long. So I will make a part 2 of this video. And in that video, I will be talking about academics and financial aid. So, yeah. So if you're interested, please subscribe. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and keep in touch with me on my social media, and I'll see you guys next time.